Hi everyone. So welcome you all to our new video that we have created for DynamoDB interview questions, and that is a part of our AWS interview series. And the question is like, why are you using DynamoDB? So it can be like, what is DynamoDB, or why are you using DynamoDB, or what are the benefits of DynamoDB? The interview can ask you in a multiple way. The question will be same. So the answer is like, basically DynamoDB is a NoSQL database service. So it's and it also a serverless architecture. Like you do not need to worry about patching or maintaining a server. So it will provide you very highly secure environment for the data, and it is highly scalable also. So once the data will be available, then there will be no like redundancy you will found, and you can get the data or retrieve the data easily or modify it. Okay. And if you talk about performance, then performance-wise, DynamoDB is very faster and it's inevitable in the performance. Okay, and it's also cost-effective. You just need to pay for the DynamoDB cluster. Whatever cluster you will create, you need to pay for it. And DynamoDB is a key value pair-based storage service. Okay, and it's very like highly scalable. So it's recommended to use for like storing any data. For example, storing the metadata related thing, and you can query it like using scan or query. You can do perform, and you can query it easily. Okay. Now the next question is, what is the DynamoDB mapper class? So basically, DynamoDB mapper class is an entry point through which you can like connect with DynamoDB. Okay, and this class provide access to the DynamoDB endpoint. So endpoints are basically like in many AWS services, you will see like endpoint will be there, like VPC endpoint or S3 endpoint. So they are basically like endpoint entry point through which you can connect with that service. Okay, and here like a DynamoDB mapper class will be the endpoint, and it will enable the user to access their data in various table they will store in the DynamoDB, and execute queries and scan and get the details from the tables. And they can perform like CRUD operations on create, read, update, delete operations on the items stored in the DynamoDB. Okay. Then DynamoDB support various type of data types like number, string, binary, boolean. Then it also supports collection of data types such as like number set, string set, binary set, heterogeneous list, heterogeneous map. Okay, these are the options supported by data types supported by DynamoDB along with the null values. Okay. And sometimes interviewer will ask you like, does DynamoDB also support in-place atomic updates? Then you can say, yeah, DynamoDB support quick in-place atomic updates, where you can basically numeric attributes increment or decrement can be done in the arrow using by API call. You can do it, and you can add or remove the sets, list, or maps. Okay, and also DynamoDB supports get and put operation using user-defined primary key. It provides flexible querying by like if you do any query on a non-primary key attribute using local secondary indexes or GSI like global secondary indexes. So these all things are allowed with the DynamoDB. And also DynamoDB supports conditional operations. Okay. Now DynamoDB is also like thread safe, and if you talk about methods, as we have recently talked, like mapper class will have some method like save, load, delete, query, scan page. You can do any operation by using these methods on DynamoDB data. Now the next question is, what is GSI in DynamoDB? GSI stands for basically global secondary indexing. Okay, it's an index with different partition, and sort key from those on the table is called as like GSI, global secondary index. And it considered to be global. Why it's global? In the sense like that query on the index can span all the items in a table across all the partitions. Like there will be table, it will have multiple partition. So this global secondary index will be able to perform that. It will span the index on all the items across every partition. Okay. Now there are like, you can see like there are two type of indexing supported by DynamoDB, which is first one is we have talked recently like global secondary index. Second one is local secondary index. So local secondary index is like it is an index that has some same partition key as that of the table but different sort key. Okay, and it is considered as local because every partition of the index is scoped to a table partition that has the same partition key, and their maximum of like 5 global secondary indexes per table you can create. Okay. Related question they can ask is like, what are the API calls supported by GSI, global secondary index? Then you can say there are two API calls supported by global secondary index. One is a query and another one is scan. Now, next question is, what is difference between like a DynamoDB and MongoDB? It's a very like important question, because ask you a question related with DynamoDB, they can ask you this question. So you can tell like, okay, MongoDB is available on any like server, you can host it, while DynamoDB is a native database service of AWS, so you can use it on AWS only, and you can use there. MongoDB is like a rich ad hoc query language where you can like you can write any query plus IDE support will be provided by them. But in DynamoDB, there is no like such options there. You can just have to write a simple options-based query, and you can query or scan it. And DynamoDB, on the other hand, provides some APIs through which you can call the DynamoDB services by using Python or any other language. Okay, so then the MongoDB have many operators, join, aggregation, which are not available on DynamoDB, that much operator. Then DynamoDB and MongoDB both are excellent in performance, easy to deploy. Okay, then adding table require no configuration for the MongoDB, but in DynamoDB there will be some additional configuration and the cost. Then MongoDB is like easy to use from AWS, but not natively integrated. Like it's not a AWS on service, but DynamoDB is a native integration with AWS, so you can like configure it with the other AWS services easily, like IAM, VPC, Lambda, or Kinesis. Then it was released in 2012, while MongoDB was released earlier in 2009. Okay, so these are the examples. These are the basically differences we have covered. Now the question is like, interview will ask you like, how are you using DynamoDB in your project? So if you are from Java or any Python background, you can say like that, okay, I am writing Python code by using Boto 3. In Boto 3, you are calling the client of DynamoDB. You are selecting a region as per your requirement. You can just write the DynamoDB client also. Once you get the DynamoDB client, you can utilize the DynamoDB API like scan, query. You can utilize that, or table. You can write that, get the table name. You can query something. You can scan something. That all things you can perform, and you can write this Boto 3 on an IDE in local system, like on your laptop, or you can write in the Lambda also, and you can trigger the Lambda from other service, so it will trigger the DynamoDB. So that kind of architecture basically you can create with AWS DynamoDB. Okay, and you can tell as if like you are using in this type of in your current project, so that will also create a good impression. Okay, so these were the like so basically, these were the AWS DynamoDB interview question that we have covered. If you need more question on DynamoDB interview, then please subscribe our channel and watch more such content. And please comment down which type of interview question you need now.